Only 4.5 years after making the war rig, I'm finally adding the fuel pod as the missing piece of the puzzle. Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to MapleLeaf Customs in Switzerland. I'm Andrew, and in this video I'm revisiting my epic summer of 2021 build, the Fury Road War Rig. It's a Matchbox Super Kings K-115 tractor cab with a K-103 articulated tanker trailer. It's by far my most viewed video, and it accounts for nearly 10% of my total YouTube subs. I took some inspiration from the Fury Road film, of course, but I did a lot of freelancing too. It was, at the time, the biggest project I'd taken on so far, and it was only my third Gaslands style build. I'll leave a link in the top right-hand corner right here so that you can go and visit at your own convenience and watch the original video. I found it to be a great outlet for my imagination and creativity, but something has been bothering me for the 4.5 years since I made this. I put a crane and a wrecking ball on the back. Remember, it wasn't a true film reproduction. It needs the fuel pod. And that's what I'm doing in this video today. It's long overdue, and I'm sorry it's taken this long for me to get around to it. If you're a fan of this style of build, then I hope you'll stay tuned for the duration and that you'll enjoy it. Be sure to consult my playlists on my YouTube channel for more Fury Road builds like this. Now, here's my original war rig revisited. As always, with any model that's as popular as this one, there's a myriad of 3D files available, but I'm going to try to do my best to make this mostly a scratch build project, but I will be firing up both my resin and FDM 3D printers for some essential pieces. I took a little bit of heat in the comments on the original video for hacking up these Matchbox pieces that I use, but as you can see clearly now, in this boneyard bin that I'm picking through, they're already mangled and mismatched and missing wheels and windows, so I don't feel bad about sacrificing any of these. Right now I'm just looking for a trailer with a double axle to fit some dualies on it so that I can match the film model as closely as possible. There are a couple of candidates in here, but this one looks exactly like what I need. It'll take a few modifications, but I can work with that. It's a Super Kings as well, so it's the right scale. Imagine the crane out of the way. Yep, that's perfect. I started this around Christmas time and found this 6-centimeter decoration from the tree. My wife was putting everything away and said, "Hey, I'm missing one." I said, "It must have rolled under the couch. Let me have a look." I have to remove the undercarriage wheel assembly. I'll do that carefully because I'll reuse this, although I plan to replace the wheels. And off comes this rotating piece from the top. Not sure what the original model was, but I don't need that. And there it is. That's plastic. The main frame is die-cast. I don't think hot pink would be a good feature color on the war rig, so I'll strip that off in the normal way. There it is down to bare metal. A few moments later, a base coat of black primer is applied. Same primer treatment on the Christmas tree bauble, which is still missing in action. And those are my two main parts. Coming up on MapleLeaf Customs, I've got a couple of racers in the pipeline for you, including a Ferrari 488 GTB and a Honda Civic EG rally car, as well as a classic AMC Javelin AMX. Be sure to circle March 14th on your calendar for my annual Porsche Invitational, and I've got another Hoonatron lined up too. Something for everybody, I hope. Here's a 3D print that I had to mock up and make myself, which is essential in holding the fuel pod onto the base. I did that with my brand new Elegoo Centauri Carbon FDM printer. Came out just right. Perfect fit, as you can see. That'll fit on top of the Matchbox trailer. In order for this now more accurate addition to fit, I first have to remove my original crane and wrecking ball from the back of the tanker. Cutting tool disc is just the right solution. That comes cleanly off. I also have this kind of alien horn skull that I put on there. That's gotta go. And a little bit of cleanup. These are the parts that I've gathered together so far. That's the original trailer and undercarriage. Now it's primed in black as well. I've shown you the 3D printed base, which will fit on top. There's the fuel pod itself. I'm storing that carefully off to the side for obvious reasons. This is from the craft store, and it'll serve perfectly as the hose, as per the original film. I need some ladder rungs too. I'll use these heavy-duty staples to serve that purpose. And another 3D printed assembly. This is like a mini turret that goes on top of the fuel pod that'll have a gun mount up there. These are original 4.5-year-old extra dualies with spiked hubs that I printed when I made the original war rig. Already primed and ready to go, so they're a perfect fit in size and style. The first dry fit shows promise. Today's community shoutout goes to the YouTube channel Wastelands Raceway, aptly named and themed for this particular build that I'm doing. So please follow the link that I've left in the description and swing by at your convenience. One more thing I've got to remove from the original tanker are the rear-mounted guns that were protruding from the Beetle. because they would have shot off the top of the fuel pod. Can't have that. A little safer with those out of the way. Starting to put the parts together now. Here's the turret assembly and ladder rungs. I glue a couple of supports in place that will support the ring, which is a little bit of security, as much as this would bounce up and down on the Fury Road for whoever is positioned in there to use the guns. I'll trim those to length. These are the same guns that just came off the Beetle, and I'll upcycle those for the fuel pod. I think I could use another staple that would be just the right size for the handle on that. Quick do-over, moving the ladder rungs from the back to the front, or front to back, switching sides. Then the primer always covers a multitude of mistakes. The trailer had a tow hook on the back, which I don't need. I'm cutting that off and smoothing out the connection point, and I put that on the back of the tanker to pull the trailer. Nice. A bit of a touch-up on the back of the tanker now, followed by a final shot of matte black Vallejo paint, plus a uniform coat of black all around the fuel pod and accessories that have been added on. That ties it all together and getting close to the final look. One last step towards accuracy to the original film war rig are these raggedy looking flags to go on the back of the tanker. They weren't part of my original, but seeing I'm working on that zone, I couldn't very well overlook them this time. I like to include a build number when I can, and I thought I'd incorporate MLC 418 into a HAZMAT decal applied on the back. Now I'm ready to put everything together. There are my wheels incorporated into the undercarriage. A little bit of super glue on top of the die-cast trailer, and now I can center and seat the fuel pod on top of that. Everything is still all matte black in color, so to break that up, I do a little bit of hand brushing, roughly, on the guns, the turret, and the ladder rungs. I want to make them look chipped and worn. I highlighted the hose in the same way. I didn't forget the spiky hubs either. Now everything needs to get a road-worn look. I turn my PSI down to about 10 and give everything a good Fury Road dusting. Let's have a closer look. Everything turned out to be just right in scale size, using what I had around the house, as well as a couple of 3D printed parts out of necessity. I think I matched up the color and the dusting with the original war rig that was done several years earlier. I had a lot of still pics from the movie to assist me along the way. Couple of brake cables underneath, as you can see. Trailer hitch is now functional. Guns, hose, that's pretty close to the film model. and it shows up very nicely on two different scorched earth dioramas that I've made to accommodate my growing fleet of Fury Road vehicles. That was a satisfying project and one with which I'm well pleased, especially now that it completes the Fury Road war rig. I always felt that was the missing piece of the puzzle. There's the bird's eye view, and the whole fleet that I've done together. 8 pieces so far, with more to come. Thanks so much for visiting my channel again today. I sure do appreciate you following. Come on back soon, and often. It's coffee time.